Rafael Mariano Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Agency. Welcome to Al-Arabiya, sir.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to see you.
You too. Thank you. You stated that Iran does not appear to be actively enriching uranium. Tell us more.
Correct. They used to be very active in that area, and after the attacks in June, were a good part, significant part of their nuclear infrastructure was struck and severely damaged. As a consequence of that, most of the activity in that area has come to a halt, complete halt, which is just normal, a consequence of the destruction of the infrastructure that they used to have. So there is no enrichment activity in Iran today.
Iran Parliament approved a legislation to suspend cooperation with the IAEA unless conditions are met. Can you satisfy these conditions, and what steps are you taking to gain full access?
I believe in dialogue and I believe in respect. So we listened to our Iranian counterparts when they said that they would be requesting the IAEA to fulfill certain conditions. One thing is very clear, though, which I must say. The relationship between the IAEA and Iran is a legal relationship, which means that we are there inspecting because Iran has signed the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, and as a consequence of that, what we call a comprehensive safeguards agreement, which means inspections with the IAEA. So this is a legal obligation, and legal obligations must be respected.
Are they still a full member of the
They are. They are, and I believe it's a wise step, if I may say so, on their part to continue to be part of the non-proliferation regime. At the same time, we have this conversation where we have said, and especially you may remember, we had a meeting in Cairo under the auspices of President Sisi and the Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati, and then myself and the Foreign Minister Dr. Arakchi, we agreed on a number of technical steps to facilitate the inspections, not conditions, because at the NPT we are all equal. All countries are equal. They do not put conditions on the IAEA to do its work. At the same time, we respect the sensitivities. There has been a very traumatic event in the sense that they were attacked. This is a fact of life. So I have to listen to these voices and to give them all the reassurances. The work of the IAEA is confidential and gives all the necessary guarantees that by our inspectors being there, they do not have anything to fear or to be concerned about. So this is the dialogue that we are having with them.
The agreement, the Cairo agreement, which was concluded with the gracious facilitation by Egypt
Indeed.
and their leaders. It was criticized by the West that it doesn't have time frame, it doesn't account for the 400 kilos of 60% enriched uranium, and they went ahead and they activated the snapback. What would you say to them for their criticism of the agreement that you concluded? And you were actually happy with it.
First of all, this was a technical understanding on certain measures to facilitate the conduct of inspections. So one could not or should not expect from this precisions on amounts, quantities, places, or anything else, because that is, if you want, taken care of by the safeguards agreement that we have with Iran. It doesn't need our safeguards work with
How about
Iran.
the time frames?
All of that, the time frames and all of that is in the facility arrangements, is in the comprehensive safeguards agreement. There are many provisions on that. So this does not need to be renegotiated. So I understand that for the layman out there which doesn't need to be aware of all these intricacies,
Yes.
it might be something that was missing or not present in this, which I repeat again, was not an agreement or a treaty. It was simply a number of technical measures to facilitate the conduct of inspections. I believe that was necessary precisely because of what you said before. Iran had passed legislation. They were saying that cooperation was being restricted. So in these cases, you have to exercise diplomacy. So I sat down with them. What do you mean by this? Are we understanding each other on what is meant by what you say and what we say?
So would you say that the West was, for the lack of better words, hasty in activating the snapback?
I wouldn't characterize that. That is a decision of countries. Countries may decide that for one or the other reason, it is in their interest to do certain things. What I must try to do, and I try to do that, and I think we do that, we try to ensure that whatever the circumstances, the political circumstances around the situation, we can continue to do our job.
You said there are movements around Iranian storage sites. Can you elaborate on that?
There is nothing significant happening there. I want to be very, very clear because every word sometimes is taken out of context. There is movement, yes.
You shouldn't have said it then, because it got
No,
people worried.
no. People say we see photos, we see yes, of course, but
Yes.
we are we are inspectors. So each word we say has a meaning. All right. So I cannot say that and as I said, it's a big industrial site. So they are even taking measures to ensure the stability of some of the structures which were badly hit, as you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know because I'm not there. What kind of work this is? What we know is that there is no particular activity in areas of enrichment or movement of the material, but of course there are many other things that are taking place there.
When do you envisage you'll have access?
Well, this is one of the main points that we have to find an understanding on with Iran. They should give us their own assessment. This has not happened yet on the material where it is, how much is there anything missing, etc. So on the basis of that, normally we react. It's an iterative
When do you expect it?
process. I hope it's soon. It's overdue.
After the attack, a 12 days war, what is your assessment of the status of Iran's fundamental technical expertise and enrichment capabilities?
The fundamental technical expertise is there. You cannot unlearn. You cannot forget
Of course.
what you have achieved in terms of your technical capabilities, which they have. And they had a very quite ambitious and quite sophisticated infrastructure with the ability to design, manufacture, test, and use advanced centrifuges. So that has not disappeared. You cannot bomb that away. That has not disappeared. The infrastructure, the centrifuges that were there have been very probably completely destroyed or rendered completely unusable. But the capabilities are there. The issue is what they intend to do, if they do something, when they do something, and this is an area where we don't have any precision at the moment. And this is what we are saying. At the moment, there is nothing. But of course, they may take a decision to do it again. But this will also be influenced by other conversations that they are having, perhaps with the United States or with other players, where they are looking at their future nuclear activities against the background of a possible wider agreement with Iran.
How did snapback and also the abandonment of JCPOA affected your work? Does JCPOA still somehow, some parts of it apply to the situation?
Well, there is a legal debate not involving
IAEA.
us,
Yes.
but Russia, China have a very clear view that it has elapsed or is no longer valid, and hence no agency work based on JCPOA is forthcoming or should be possible. Others have a bit different view. So I would say the fact of the matter is that JCPOA was like an empty shell, more or less. Then snapback came, and now there is a sort of a debate about its existence as a whole. The fact of the matter is that it's no longer in application, and that the work that we used to conduct under the framework of the JCPOA is not taking place anymore. There might be other formulas, other ways in which we can continue, but what regarded the JCPOA and the activities that we were conducting, they are not being conducted at the moment. So that is the reality on the ground today.
According to your expertise in this field and to your experts' opinion, can Iran, with 60% enriched uranium, manufacture a dirty bomb?
Well, there we have to make a technical differentiation, which is very, very important. And I'm not talking about Iran, I'm talking in general, all right?
Yes.
So a dirty bomb is not a nuclear weapon. A dirty bomb is a conventional explosive device that has radioactive material inside.
Yes.
So the nuclear dimension of it comes through the dispersion of nuclear material.
Yes.
Based on a conventional explosion.
Yes.
And the ensuing contamination, radiological effects of it. So I say this because there are some people who tend to amalgamate things that are different.
Yes.
A nuclear weapon is something completely different. Yes. All right? So any country having nuclear material, in theory.
With what level of enrichment? 60% or less?
Even less.
Yes.
It could be even less. Don't forget that we have had cases in the past of contamination out of sources coming from hospitals.
Oh.
All right? So nuclear material, which may be radioactive, must be dealt with extreme care. So this is why I think we have to be careful in order not to panic or fear in what is a radiological weapon or dirty bomb and a nuclear weapon, which is something completely different.
It's no secret that you are running for the position of United Nations Secretary General next year, and we wish you the very, very best of luck, actually.
That's very kind.
No, sincerely. What, in your opinion, is the biggest challenges facing this organization? Is it the funding cuts? Is it the attack on multilateralism? What are the challenges, in your opinion, if you were Secretary General, would consider them very, very dangerous?
There are many things. I would say that we have to work together with member states to make the UN relevant again, but really relevant. And when I say relevant, what I have in mind is its fundamental mission on ensuring international peace and security. Our discussion today with you has been turning around issues that have to do with that, isn't it?
Yes.
And unfortunately, in these areas and in other areas, we do not see the UN engaged, active. Take Gaza, take Cambodia, Thailand, take Azerbaijan, Armenia, take Africa, Sudan. So
we see politically,
we see absence of peace and security work, which is really indispensable. Of course, all the pillars are important, the development, the humanitarian aspects are very important, but the UN has been losing gradually relevance in these areas. All of the rest, yes, the UN needs right sizing, needs to be less bureaucratic, need all of that. But fundamentally, there is a new deal that is necessary. And for that, you need a Secretary General that can sit down with the main players and P5 and beyond, because there are many very, very important countries all over the world that have a say in what is happening. Sit down and say, we all want the UN, because this is something which is true. In spite all of this criticism of the UN, people continue to believe that if the UN did not exist, we would have to reinvent it in some way. In some way. Yeah. So what we need is to find again this this founding flame, work together. It's not impossible.
Rafael Mariano Grossi, the General Director of the International Atomic Agency, thank you for your insight and thank you for your time in this interview, and we wish you the very best of luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank
A pleasure,
you.
as
Thank
always.
you,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you, sir.